Back to your third session in your memory, I'm back again. In this part, I'm going to talk about data types, variables, and constants. According to definition, data types is a particular kind of data items as defined by the value it can take, the programming language used, or operation that can be performed on it. So, basically, data types in C are of five types associated with the variable. What is data type? Actually, data type is something that stores data in its own form. We'll be dealing it in later. Now let us see the five types of data in C programming. They are integer, floating point, double precision, character, and void. What is an integer? Integer is something that stores whole number, and it is represented by int in program, and this is called format specifier, and I'll be talking about it in the program section. And the next is float. Float takes fractional values like numbers like 314.152 or the value of pi 3.14, etc. can be stored in floating point, but it can't be stored on an integer because integer cannot take precision or fractions. And double precision, it has more capability than floating point. It can take higher precision values. And character stores the characters like a b c d. It cannot store string, but in order to store a string we have to use an array of character, and we'll be talking it in later tutorials. And void, it is not commonly used and it's hard to learn about void than other this data types, so I'll be talking it in later. Now what is a variable? Variable is something whose value can be made anything at any point of time. Let us say that we have created something like x, which can store a value like 14 or 15. Now that x is a variable in this case. And for the constant, constant is something whose value cannot be changed throughout the operation. Like let us consider we created something called c, and its value is like 14, and in the current operation we change the value to 15, but it still stays 14. That types of values, like I've talked about that c. Now the c is a constant. Now let us go to the program and know in detail. Now you know how to create a program. First create a new file, save it. I will be saving it data types .c. And in this new program, first you must include the header file. If you don't know what I'm doing right here, please watch my previous tutorials in order to know what is this. And we must use something called main. Basically main is the head of the office. Now let us create an integer data type. Integer, a variable named x. Now we have to store and execute. I have to show you that x can store a value and can also give a value. In order to store a value in x, let us first ask the user to give us a value. In order to do that, I am using a printf command. Printf is used as format output and it can produce output text on the screen. Now let us ask user to type some value, enter a value. Now in order to get something from the user, we have to use a command named scanf. It is also known as format input. In order to take a value from scanf, we have to add the format specifier. What types of data are you taking from? If you are taking an integer, as I talked earlier from the session, integer goes for percentage %d. You can watch this you can get this format specifier from watching some from internet or blogs. There are various kinds of format specifier used for various things. Now for integer, I'm using %d. To take a value from user, we have to give an address of the variable where the variable locates in the memory. If x gives the value of the variable, then $x will give the address where it is located on the memory. Now this is how we take value from user. I'll be teaching you this part in an easy way after I execute this command. Now let us go down. Now we have to print this x now. In order to do that, I'm using printf command. Now the value you have given is, now we have to again use this format specifier, that is %d. Now as I said earlier, $x will give address and x will give the value. Now we just want the value, not the address, so I'm using x. This is it, and I have used here integer is as a return, so as a return type I have to send an integer. I will be sending 0 after the whole program runs properly. Now it's time to execute this code. I am doing it with the GCC compiler. So here in this compiler I'll be first going to the location cdc cd learning teaching CLS. Now here is our program data types.c. Now I have to execute it. First let me save this file. Yeah. Here's the program we have to execute. To do this, we type gcc data types.c dash output data types. If it runs properly, compiles properly, you'll get no error. Now in order to run this program, here is the executable data types. We have to do /data types. Now you are asked to enter a value. Let's see properly here. You are asked to enter a value. You can enter any value like 1 2 3 4 5, but it must be within a range of integer. If you type a long value that's beyond the range of integer, it will give you something else, not what you entered. Now let us go for 1 2 3 4 5. The value you have given is 1 2 3 4 5. That's how a variable works. Now let us see in an easy way how this worked. Okay, consider that a data type as a car making company. This is in car making companies. As we talked earlier, let me open the previous file. Data types definition. These are 5 car making companies. These make various cars according to their own company. Let's say integer. Integer makes car which is smaller, have smaller capacity than floating point, double precision, but bigger capacity than character. And integer text. In this car, we can only fit numbers, not strings, not characters, or not fractional values. We can only fit just numbers. Let's see this data types to see. Now x, in this case x is a car. X is a car, mean we can again create another car named y. Let us say that x is the number plate of the car. Mean you can't create a same number plate car either with same company or different company. This is probably wrong. You cannot do this because you know the traffic rules or the government rule. You can't create 2 cars of same number plate, but you can create 2 cars of same company of different number plate. This is correct, but that earlier was wrong. Now here we have a car of number plate X. Now in this car we can store any value, but only integer value. Now here we are taking from user, enter a value, and scanf is the thing that takes the value. Before we enter any value to x can contain any passenger. Let us consider passengers are the value in the car. In this car, before we take any value, there may be any number of custom or random passengers. We don't want them, so we want a new passenger. Like passenger name, earlier we write 1 2 3 4 5. We want this passenger to go to this x. Now in order to do that, we have to give the address. Where is the car on the road? As which road, which side, and which city it is located. By that, so that the passenger 1 2 3 4 5 can easily find the car and get in the car. This is how you do it. Scanf. This is like a door of the car. How you open the lock, how you could fit the variable, how you could fit the passenger, and how you could get them back as you wanted. Now to get the value, we have to give the car and the lock. We use printf function, and to show in the output the value you have given is the value inside this car, that is the passenger inside this car, and the door of the car is open through this format specifier. Now let's talk about constant. Now I am creating a constant called y. To create a constant, you have to do const. This represents a constant car called y. Now y is something, let us say y is a car whose door is always locked. I mean the manufacturer locked the door of the car. I mean you can't open, you don't have the key to open the car. Now before they lock the car, they keep some passenger, a random passenger, let's say 54321. Now the 54321, let's say 4321, I think it will go beyond the range. 4321 is the passenger that is already by the manufacturer in this locked car y. Now here I am going to change the value of y and print the value of y. Let me execute this now. Save this first, then let's go to terminal. Let us compile this first. Here you already got a warning, because see, we already got a warning from the compiler. It says that y isn't constant. You cannot enter using scanf in this constant car y. Uh, Now let us execute what will happen. I have executed this. Now I am putting, we have 4321 in the car. I am taking 1 2 3 4 as the passenger. When I go it, see, the car still remain with its old passenger. You cannot put this passenger into the car. That's what a constant is. This much for today. I think this will be enough. In the later section, I'll be teaching you how to modify these cars in a new way. Thank you guys. If you like this video, please like, thumbs up, and comment down below. Thank you so much. Bye.